I'm Jen Lee. This is Get Your Message Out. Your capacity is a key variable. Often we overlook this part. We start dreaming of how will I make a thing? What will I make? How will I do this? And we can often dream or plan something that isn't a match for what our actual capacity is, either to execute or to sustain, if what we're planning is something that needs to be sustained over time. What we want to start with is looking at our capacity as a key variable before we even decide and make those final choices about what medium or mode we use and what form our message takes. One example I'm thinking of is the Just Between You and Me podcast I made in collaboration with artist and author Tim Manley a few years ago. When we had this idea for a collaboration, before we decided our form, our style, all of those things, we looked at our capacity first. The podcast itself was not our primary creative project in that time. It was more of a sidecar project where we were taking our community and friends and colleagues behind the scenes of our creative process as we were documenting it on a weekly basis with each other. So when we looked at our capacity, we could see a few things. One, we needed whatever vehicle we chose to get our message out to allow us to spend a really confined amount of time each week. We had 60 to 90 minutes to give this project a week, but we really needed it to not bleed out or pull focus from our other creative endeavors at the time. So we came up with the idea of a podcast. Then we planned the style of podcast. With that in mind, we knew we don't have time for internal edits to record, edit, and produce each week in a 60 to 90 minute frame. So we posted those unedited conversations and just put a brief intro and outro on the beginning and end. And then we also used our capacity to split up our roles. And while I did editing on the audio and put that together and prepared it for export, Tim on his side would make the visual and write the post, the episode description that would go on our website and out to the podcast feed. We would do it really quickly, share files, publish, and then we were back to work and launched into our week and used that kind of excitement and momentum to fuel us and focus us. So it was really our capacity that defined, are we going to do something written? Are we going to do a video? Are we going to do a podcast, social? Our capacity was the thing that helped us make those choices. We wanted to choose something that we could do weekly, and we wanted to do something we could sustain. So when you're looking at your capacity, you're looking at what are the skills you have and what's your capacity to expand or learn new ones. What is your budget like in case your idea for getting your message out involves a budget? What are the constraints of that? Also, you're wanting to look at your time, both your physical, literal time for execution, but also holding space for the generative energy something takes, which is something that's hard to capture in minutes. Our brains aren't the kind of thing where we can get the calendar alert and it can say start this task at 12 p.m. and that we start immediately getting the ideas at 12:01. So we need to hold some of our creative or generative bandwidth as well and look at how that's allocated currently. So the capacity is really key. And also, do we have capacity for any post-production editing, whether that's editing copy drafts or editing audio or editing video? Or do we have a budget for that? Yes or no? And then we're going to take that into account as we're doing our design of our message. Does that mean our message needs to be more scripted than not? Or does that mean our tone needs to be more casual than not? The capacity is really a key variable. And you want to involve it in the process closer up front. If you wait to ask this till the end and you already have the grand plans and you already have your blueprint laid out it's going to be tempting to commit to something that causes you to stretch in a way that either produces strain on you or is hard to sustain over time. So start with that capacity, with those questions in mind at the beginning. What do you have available to you? What are your constraints? And what are possibilities, but also what are possible challenges that you could see coming? Do some work around answering those questions, and that will help ensure that the plan you come up with for getting your message out is both executable and sustainable.